Let us explore the role of illusion in life's problems. It's common, it's very, very common for people to hear that when we meditate upon a problem, the solution can present itself as if the problem had only been an illusion. That's often misunderstood to say that if we just believe hard enough that the problem is an illusion, the problem will go away and we won't have to muck about with the messy old meditation thing. Problem with belief is that even if you apply maximum effort, you're still exercising rigidity and controlling tendencies. Doing so is antithetical to the path of yin. It's the path of yang. Tell me, which sounds more like ego? Being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, or being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel? I think we believe the second correlates more with ego and correlates more with the side effects of belief. Belief is a mental and emotional rigidity. I don't recommend it. Consequently, relying on belief and its rigidity exacerbates our stress, our anxiety, and our crankiness. So, as you can probably tell by my ridiculous garments, I'm more in favor of relying on meditation. But how does that work? Well, let's begin with the fact that every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the thoracic region of our spinal cord and is wired not for active concentration, but instead to simply perceive, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. When we perceive our problems thusly, we plug into a subconscious problem-solving mode. We begin noticing connections with the causes of the problem. We begin noticing more connections between resources we might have forgotten we had, or those within our life who might have more resources. Let's take a deeper look. And we'll do so by implementing the 12-syllable exploration of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, we are perceiving this very turbulent play of mind. Now, the play of mind is not a problem. If someone tells you it is, they're probably not a very good meditation teacher. Our minds have evolved to, along with their sense organs, to see, hear, feel, taste, smell, and the like. Our minds have evolved to emote, intend, reason, recall, and imagine. In tantric art, and especially in Dzogchen art, we often see this couple. The man, the color of the azure sky, a woman, the color of a cumulus cloud. The woman is depicted as sporting in tantric union in wild abandon. And this reminds us of the playfulness of mind. Notice his reaction. He's not threatened by his partner being playful and experiencing abandon. He's very, very cool and calm and centered and just enjoying the present moment. Similarly, every time we exhale, we spontaneously access our parasympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the lower region of the lumbar spinal cord, as well as the tippy top of the cervical spinal cord. Every time we exhale, we are wired for both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Consider the 12 syllables relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature. Now, this is important. We do not want to make the mistake of superstitiously or rigidly falling in the trap of believing that mind is literally non-graspable. Nor do we want to fall into the pseudo-intellectual trap of trying to prove that the mind is literally non-graspable. Instead, we remember that in the fourth grade, most of us were taught of figures of speech. And we recall how this could be a figure of speech. How every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, as if it was as non-graspable as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand. It's just that simple. So as we meditate, noticing and releasing, At first, as we go back and forth, we'll probably just notice the superficialities, the appearance of the problem, the appearance of the possible consequence if the problem goes unresolved, the sensations of it, how it feels physically and emotionally. And we just keep noticing and relaxing, and soon connections start to be made viscerally, unconsciously, and a solution will present itself. And of course, I'm reminded of the wonderful line, probably my favorite line from Phantom Menace, when Liam Neeson's character reassures an anxious Obi-Wan Kenobi, "I counsel patience, the solution will present itself." And when it does, after a certain amount of time in meditating, not only will the problem seem implementable, but the rigidity and certitude and danger of the problem will feel as if it was as non-graspable as an illusion. And so we see that comparing a problem to illusion is not meant to ever be a literal statement, but simply a metaphor, which can break down to a simile. So after the problem was solved, when the problem is recalled, it could feel as if it was only as graspable as an optical illusion, like a magician's trick upon a stage. So a lot of life's confusions come from taking things literally. That's not a character flaw, but it is a warning signal, a red flag that we are stuck in anxiety. What I'd like to do now, I think it could be quite lovely if together as a team we chanted, whoopsie, that is not the page I want to be on. Let me see if I can fix that bad boy. Well, that's just odd, isn't it? Don't mind me, I'm just looking for the page. Okay, so let's see. Control G 120. And a quick like a button. So I'll try to fix that bad boy. Wrong button. Let's put button number 14. Now, before we start, allow me to remind you that if at any point during the remainder of this live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Although by identifying with the body of the Arctic Great Wrathful One, with its body wrathful grimaces as well as attributes, with even the syllable concretely actualized with the authentic condition of the quiescent state is not seen. Again, the Dzogchen Naljorpa Garab Dorje reminds us this time that both Tokal Mahayoga and Tikle Anu Yoga are I added a consonant, are an unproductive distraction from the power and the ease of Triksho Ati Yoga. And it's mindfulness and meditation. Together. Just as the top of a palm tree is cropped, and just as a seed is burnt by fire, likewise the dominion of powerful emotions may be prevented, as some have taught, by relaxing and releasing in harmony with our exhalation whatever turbulent emotions that were perceived during our previous inhalation are now decapitated like a vampire and a petty dreadful. Together, all the hundreds and thousands of methods, according to what one practices, bear their specific flowers. But since enlightenment is beyond conceptual characteristics, it does not manifest from these abodes. As Paul the Apostle wrote, although everything is permitted, not everything is beneficial. Similarly, although many spiritual practices can create some kind of result, they are not equal to the result of the great completion stages, awareness and release. I'm going to play games with synonyms. I'm going to replace the word flowers with fruit. Because for American readers, that's going to make much more sense. Together. Good fortune has the yogi who abides in this indescribable state, for by not discriminating between self and others, the magical illusion of self-perfection manifests. During each relaxing exhalation, we sample the single taste of emptiness, shared by all who we noticed during our previous inhalation, including our sense of self. This is the easy path of instant enlightenment. So I just want to make sure everything's copacetic with tomorrow morning's deal. Copy. Let's go over here. Home. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is cool. Excellent. So let's move on. I look forward to meditating with you this evening, when we will prepare to do that momentarily, after less than a minute of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. I've spent more than half my life studying, practicing, and then reverse engineering all the teachings, techniques, and practices of each school of Buddhism so that I could play the Luke Skywalker to your General Leia Organa, so that you could quickly and easily become the person that your dog already thinks you are. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For our pre-meditation chant, let's recite the empathetic bodhicitta and enthusiastic refuge. We'll begin with a more literal recitation set to a triplet chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, by relying on thee, Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So these three terms that I've highlighted are so useful that they've earned the metaphoric nickname of the three wish-fulfilling jewels that are going to be referred to in this final chant that is concise, and this recitation uses the bookend chant. Together, here we go. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. So this is not a prayer to a real or imagined entity. This is not an affirmation. This is simply we're simply using words to exercise our loving intention. Let's continue. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. Together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker. Let us begin with the 12-syllable exercise, reciting the top line silently and mentally as we inhale, and the bottom line silently and mentally as we exhale. Let's switch gears now from the 12-syllable technique down to the 3-syllable technique. During our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And during our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, "Relaxing." When you find yourself imagining, you can simply replace the phrase "notice this" with "imagine." When you find yourself thinking or recalling, you can adjust the phrases accordingly. And of course, we can switch gears and play with the one-syllable version of the exact same exercises. We can replace the word recall with then, and the word imagine with dream. If you notice that you're replaying a memory of a live event or a memory of a movie, then during your inhalation, you could silently and mentally recite then, and during your exhalation, you could silently and mentally recite the verb is. Welcome to the live stream. When you have specific questions about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, type them in the chat window. Our go-to move is simply this. As we inhale, we can passively perceive. As silently and mentally we recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And as we exhale, we can physically relax and mentally release. As silently and mentally we recite the one-syllable verb, ease. Let's seal this evening's meditation with a bit of the old chanting, beginning with kind ethics and concluding with the 4 immeasurables. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from misery. May everyone be happy. May no one be separated from happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this a thumbs up. You could support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 11 hours or so, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.